Hello, everyone, and welcome to 40,000 Layers.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. I don't know why I sing that every time.
I mean, sometimes things just become habit.
Yeah, I think it's just how I think of it in my head. In the show, I'm Tashna. Hello. I'm learning to paint a whole bunch of minis and hopefully get better at it. And Sheepy, aka the Wandering Inn,
What's
uh,
up?
teaches us all about Warhammer 40k lore.
Yeah, I'm learning how to research, structure my presentation, and essentially become an office worker
Oh,
with PowerPoint
with
presentations.
PowerPoint. When's the
Yeah.
PowerPoint presentation happening?
Um, honestly, I can't see it happening anytime soon because I don't know what PowerPoint is.
Great. Yeah, good start. You'll have to do some research and find out, I think.
Oh God, fuck.
Um, thank you to all the folks on Patreon already supporting the show. It's very much appreciated. And it's
Should we
raining.
address the fact that it's
Yeah,
raining?
it's
Yeah.
raining. I'm in Britain. You know, these things happen.
Sounds like someone's peeing on your roof.
What? Tzeentch is peeing on the roof? I don't know. Thanks for that intro. If you want to check out Patreon, it's over at patreon.com/40,000 layers. And thank you to particularly Money, Damned Man, Ramona, V Mushroom, Retrograde, Vector, Azean, and Grey Blue One for already supporting on there.
Y'all awesome.
You're also
Aside from obviously when it comes to voting.
apart from when it comes to voting, which is one of the things that you can do as a Patreon supporter. You get exclusive Patreon posts. There is a 40,000 Layers Discord channel. You get to vote every month for what topic we will do the following month. So this is us closing off the August vote, and
It's
the
close.
winner is. Oh, wow. Okay, we are once again in a tie.
Is it all three?
No. It's the Emperor loses out because he's a jerk with 1.
Fuck you, Dad.
And Korn and Nurgle are both on 4.
Well.
So, last time Sheepy picked because there was a tie. So this time it's my turn.
Well, not last time.
Yeah?
I'm pretty sure last time it was unanimously everyone voted for Tzeentch. As I remember.
I think my brain is like, last time was the Eldar, and yes. Everyone voted, my mistake. Everyone voted for Tzeentch last time, but previously, Sheepy picked the Eldar. So this time, I will pick Nurgle.
Wonderful. I get to talk about death and disease.
Although, I'm sure corn paintings might be a little bit easier.
Tash, you ruined my joke.
Death and disease.
I was building up to a news broadcaster.
I'm gonna stamp on your moment.
That was gonna be a great joke, and it just got fucking ruined.
It's dead. Move on.
Oh shit.
Our topic today is Tzeentch. And this is the figurine that I'm going to be painting today. It is, what's his name? I've spelled his name wrong about 4 times. Vortemis the All-Seeing, which is technically Age of Sigmar, but I don't know what that means. From the Eyes of the Nine set.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to be painting today, if I can set my camera.
So you know Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah.
And you know Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Great. Cleared it all up.
What? Like the Age of Sigmar is Warhammer Fantasy.
But how is Tzeentch in there?
Well, because the Chaos Gods are in Fantasy and 40k.
Well,
so it
they should
really
just pick
doesn't...
one. Stop being so greedy.
I know, right? It just, like, honestly, they're exactly the same. So, you know.
Like, I'm sure it's not. When it came up when I searched Tzeentch, that's what it is.
The Zangors, who
the goat men?
yeah, who we'll get talking about later, um, they are technically from Age of Sigmar or Warhammer Fantasy, but they come with guns in case you want to use them in
Oh,
40K.
well, I wanted to paint the goat man, but I
Yeah,
broke his arms off by accident and lost them.
yeah.
So that's really sad, and I don't know where his arms are.
I got that message like 2, 3 times.
I've lost his arms.
Yeah, like I'm
I was
sad.
really upset about it. I'm quite upset about it. I wanted to paint it. So now we have yeah.
Harvey.
Oh, is it I mean he has a name.
Harvey.
It's called Vortemis. That's his name. I googled it.
Oh, okay. I mean, he's Birdman, so obviously it should be Harvey.
Ruined my life.
Okay.
All I can think when people say Birdman though is of Chocobo, from the Final Fantasy franchise.
Do you want to know why my brain is weird?
You grew it wrong.
Well, no, not why. I guess I did grow it wrong. Whenever I like, this is just a weird instance of my brain making strange connections and ending up in a place where it shouldn't be. Um, whenever I think Harvey Birdman or Birdman, my brain goes to Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
I don't know what that is.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast is like an animation. That's like, uh, do you know like have you ever seen like C Lab 2021?
No.
Oh, it's kind of like slightly obscure comedy skitty cartoony animations, but like a bit more maybe like Aqua Teen Hunger Force almost.
Definitely know what that is too.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's going well, I think, for us.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, obscure early South Park, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay.
Not really, but I've given up trying to get close to what I'm talking about.
So that's what I think. Yeah, I just think of Harvey Dent.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, going mainstream. Batman. There you go.
yeah.
Two-Face.
And I was like, is it because he's got half his face covered with a mask? I guess that could work.
You know what's funny though? Like we can talk about Batman on 40,000 Layers.
Is he in the
He
universe?
he is in 40K.
No, he's not.
He is. He is.
No, he isn't.
No joke.
That's too much. It's not okay.
He is a Primarch.
Batman is a Primarch.
Yeah.
Is he called Batman?
No, he's called Conrad Kurz.
Right, so Batman's not in it. Okay.
I mean, like, okay, when we talk about Conrad Kurz, because we will probably talk about Conrad Kurz, essentially, I'm wanting to cover broad topics for a while. So we can kind of like give people a soft introduction to all the races and factions and whatnot. But eventually, we'll get down to talking about like the different Space Marine chapters and the different characters specifically. Conrad Kurz basically is Batman. Like,
Okay.
he could be a little bit more murderous and cannibalistic, but basically
I don't
Batman.
remember that from Batman films.
Director's cut. It's
Right.
Yeah.
Those directors. I've started painting now, so every now and then I'm
Okay.
like, I have to not reply as. This is kind of difficult already. I see my friend's point about painting on the what are they even called? Boards? You know that you have to cut your models off.
Yeah, there is an actual name for it. I off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is though.
Man, if only we had access to the internet.
Well, yeah, but when I type, it's very audible, and I don't want to spend the entire time being like
Clicky, clicky.
clickety clackety. Oh,
Like that.
I typed moo into your chat. I could just press enter.
Do it.
So Tzeentch.
Tzeentch. Yes.
Yeah. Why don't we start off with what you know of Tzeentch?
Well, hang on.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay.
I already need to take him off the stand.
Oh, okay. Do you want an edgy 40k quote for Tzeentch?
How
It's from the
edgy?
book of Tzeentch.
Oh, well then it should be fine.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay, then. Yeah. It's not even. It's not even. It's not even slightly edgy, to be honest. It's.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just from the book of Tzeentch. Do not ask which creature screams in the night. Do not question who waits for you in the shadow. It is my cry that wakes you in the night, and my body that crouches in the shadow. I am Tzeentch, and you are the puppet that dances to my tune.
Oh.
So not even slightly edgy.
No. What a nice little drama queen Tzeentch is.
Yeah, I mean, just like 40k in
40k,
general.
yeah.
Is,
Well, what I know of Tzeentch is everything is planned.
Yep.
The kind of joke of, and I was here all along.
It was me, Dio.
It was me, Dio.
There's probably it was me, Dio, but for Tzeentch.
Yeah, there has to be. And I guess his disciples have a bunch of eyes and fire, and I only kind of know that because I
You
bought
saw
some
an
minis.
eye on fire.
Yeah, because the disciples that I wanted to buy and I really seriously considered it were on fire and they looked super cool, but I was like, not right now.
You should you should listen to our conversations once we know who's like winning the vote. Like after we know who's winning the vote, and we go looking at minis for Tash to paint. It consists of me suggesting a whole load of minis and getting shot down until Tash arbitrarily chooses something she wants to paint.
Yeah, it's
That's literally like a couple of hours of me being like, oh, what about this one? What
like,
about this one?
no.
And Tash is like, no, I hate him.
I
I'm
hate
like,
him
why?
specifically.
He hasn't done anything.
He stole a puppy from my cousin's mother. That's
Your
why.
aunt.
No,
No,
she married in.
still your aunt.
Doesn't count. Aunt-in-law. It's kind of weird to say.
I'm not okay.
This is the kind of conversation we have, though.
So you know the memes.
The memes, to a
Yeah.
point, yeah.
I think the number of times you go to anywhere on the internet and see people who have no idea what it means or what it has to do with anything, saying like blood for the blood god,
Yeah. Skulls for the skull throne.
skulls for the skull throne, corn for the cornflakes. It's even if people don't really know 40k, they know some of the
They know
memes.
the memes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's me.
Okay. I mean, yeah. There is, of course, the exactly as planned. The very very often any character in 40k or Warhammer or what they have like 60 different names.
Just greedy.
Yeah, well, it's like if you want something to be super badass, give it a shit ton of super badass titles and let people pick their own, like the one they think is the coolest. Tzeentch is like the Changer of Ways, the Architect of Fate, Master of Fortune, Great Conspirator, the thing that goes bump in the night probably as well. The one that I disagree with though is Change of Ways. I feel like that should be a Slanesh.
Changer of Ways?
Yeah.
What? Are you laughing at me putting him back on the stand?
Yeah, no, just sorry.
I don't know. I don't know enough about him to decide on that yet. But
That's fair.
if everything has a plan and he is the sort of architect of the plan and he drives it, then it should be correct.
Yeah, I like this is the thing though, is when you're I kind of consider Tzeentch to be a little bit a parody of the Christian God, right?
Okay.
Because you essentially, have this figure who's like, super powerful and knows a whole load of shit and
Omnipotent.
yeah, all that type of thing. And something happens, and you're like, "Wow, why did that happen?" And everyone's like, "Well, it's all the will of old bird neck over there." And you're like, "Is it though?" And then you cut to Tzeentch behind a desk with like his fingers steepled, and he's like, "Yes, exactly as planned." And you're like, "Did you plan it though?" Or are you just,
taking credit for it?
Yeah, you're just taking credit for it. Because, like, the thing about Tzeentch that I love is he takes credit for everything and his followers. And I'm talking in reality, like in real life, Tzeentch followers, and also just in general, his followers in the make believe world of 40K, which is not real. Just spoiler alert.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. They kind of like throw up this perception of everything Tzeentch does is planned out. It's like 1,000 years of planning for this like one thing, and he's like dicking around with fate and the weaves of time and all this kind of shit. And sometimes I just wonder if he's not like chilling in his room smoking some weed, and someone's like Lord Tzeentch, someone's blown up the planet. He's like, exactly as planned. And like, oh my god, you're so perfect and amazing, and you're so smart. He's like, he like rips a huge like toke on his joint and is like, fuck yeah, I am. Now go out there and make more things happen so I can claim that it's exactly what I wanted. And when things don't go well, he's like, well, give me another 1,000 years and you'll see what my plan really is.
Yes.
It's like, of course, something's going to go well for you in 1,000 years. Like, you've given a massive time frame for the random happen chance to, like, fall in your favor at some point. It's like, it's fucking...
It reminds me a little bit of the Eldar scrying, actually.
Yeah.
Well, we have to let the Tyranids take this because in 3,000 years... Not that they look that far forward, though, right?
Well, and also, God, I'm teasing stuff that people haven't seen yet.
Well, they should watch it.
We had that chat about the Eldar who was like, I'm gonna go and fuck up some Necrons, and that didn't go well for him.
Yeah, because they didn't scry far enough.
How's your hand there, buddy?
It's too soon. It's only been several thousands of years. It's too soon.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just like, and this is very important to say. I am a massive Tzeentch fan.
Yeah,
I am
quite mean, considering that you like him a lot.
I am a Tzeentch cultist, essentially, who is like, Tzeentch is all powerful and manages to do all the things and everything like that. But at the same time, I think it's worth pointing out he could just be a stoned teenager who doesn't know what's going on and keeps claiming that he's like all powerful and shit. And in its own way, I think that's quite appealing for a chaos god.
Well, I think
So
it's quite interesting because a lot of the models that I saw and that I was kind of drawn to are like makes him seem very knowledgeable with his tomes and groupies basically. But like Vortemis the All-Seeing sounds cool.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure a stoner. It'd be really funny though, just this stoner kid like bossing around these super powerful. I mean, he's a god, right? So it's still powerful
Yeah.
in himself.
Yeah.
Not even bossing everyone around, just like go and do things, man. Like
It's like, oh, great Lord Tzeentch, what should we do? He's like, I don't know,
my will,
just
like figure it out.
yeah. I mean, like, can't we just kind of glide around the galaxy for a little while? I just kind of see what happens. Do you know, like, maybe are there any good places to eat? Like, maybe we can just go get some food
I want some
first.
nachos.
Yeah, is there any planets to do some good nachos? And then, like, goes on a bender, has like a shit ton of food, wakes up and like there's like a planet on fire, and like Nurgle, Corn, and we'll probably just Nurgle and Corn. We're like, wow, you defeated them in like a single blow with no losses of your own. He's like, exactly as planned, man.
Yep.
Puts on his sunglasses and like walks off into the sunset, not knowing that he accidentally like fell asleep in his doobie, like set a planet on fire.
Yeah. Don't fall asleep with it lit. Oh dear.
Oh man, we've taken the epic awesomeness of Tzeentch and in 5 minutes just turned him into like
Okay.
an
Well,
accidental genius.
Harvey, I guess his name is. It's actually Vortemis the All-Seeing. This is,
Harvey.
Harvey. Where does he fit in in our stoner god's life?
Well, I don't. Okay, so you remember how I was like, so this mini that you're painting.
I know it's from. I know, but
you know how this is 40,000 layers.
well,
So I don't know that much about Warhammer Fantasy.
should Google it.
I mean, if you want, I could very quickly. What the hell is his name?
Vortemis. But we can
You see,
just
no, it's Vortemis. I may have spelled it wrong.
Vortemis.
T-E. I put an I. There you go.
Vortemis.
That's where I'm
My
going.
mistake. I'm from Yorkshire, mate.
It was yeah. It's also suggesting that I want Artemis, who I don't believe is in Warhammer Fantasy, but I might be wrong.
You don't know.
Okay, so that's a really cool mini. He's very blue.
Why do you think I'm painting blue?
He's also not really a Birdman looking at his
He has
face.
one wing. I guess he lost the other one because he couldn't see.
Yeah. What? But he's all seeing.
Well, it might be, metaphorical.
All seeing, except for exactly right behind him.
Could just be a blind astropath, okay?
You know what? That would be great. Is if he's Vortemis the All-Seeing, except for he has no idea he only has one wing.
Aww.
He just never noticed, and everyone's like, we shouldn't tell him. Like,
It just is there. Can't use it.
so he's part of a war band.
Yeah. Eyes of the Nine.
Oh, it's an Underworlds thing. Okay. That's kind of like Necromunda, Gorkamorka. It's like a sub tabletop game, where it's like Space Hulk or Blood Bowl.
Okay.
It's kind of like it's a focused look at a smaller part of the big. Oh, he fucks with Nagash. No, he's just been fucking around in the Mirrored City since Nagash cursed it. Okay, cool, fair enough. Yeah, he seems to be basically a servant of Tzeentch, doing what he can to help out the guy.
But what does Harvey do? You go collect it for him?
Um. His focus has shifted to collecting and converting shade glass relics into arcane lodestones that can be used to anchor Shadespire to the Silver Towers. If he succeeds, Tzeentch will most likely be able to claim dominion over the Mirrored City. Now, the interesting thing about what I just read out is I have no idea what any of that means.
Yes, it's very Tzeentchy.
And this is actually a great way to highlight how you end up losing your entire life to 40k or Warhammer. Because I just clicked on the Mirrored City because I'm like, what the fuck is the Mirrored City? It appears to be a grand city founded in the Age of Myth as a waypoint for travelers crossing the Desert of Bones into the realm of Sheesh. After its banishment, it gained the name the City Between Realms. And now I want to click on the Age of Myth to find out what that was.
What's that, Precious?
And what's Shade Glass? What is that? I don't know. I'm very curious about all of this, but we're doing 40,000 layers, so I feel like I should go back to Tzeentch,
Rein
like
it in.
specifically in 40k.
Yeah.
Um,
My mistake. Sorry, everyone.
well, I mean, you wanted to paint Bird Boy.
Well, I didn't. I wanted to paint Goatman.
It's true, but he's in the same warband.
Stupid self broken his arms.
I mean, I suggested Zangors, but you know, I was outvoted by an angry person who wanted to paint a goat. Welcome to my life, everyone. So yeah, Tzeentch is a chaos god.
Okay.
You know, it's in terms of chaos, I feel like, you know, the meme side of things, or like the kind of thing that everyone knows is just like the chaos gods are assholes, pretty much.
Well, yeah, they are. So
So
that little huff of, "Oh, that's not right. Now I have to address this too.
so the chaos gods exist in and kind of control the dimension known as the immaterium,
Yeah.
which is also called the warp, because hey, let's have a couple of names so people can confuse them. It's essentially psychic in essence. This is where we get into places where I'm like I understand it, but at the same time it's yeah, it depends. I think very often people keep it very vague because it's easier.
Yeah, there's so much lore over the
Yeah.
years, isn't there?
Okay, so I'm just going to describe it exactly as it's described, and instead of like, you know, turning it into my own words. It's an alternate dimension of purely psychic energy that echoes and underlies the familiar four dimensions of the material universe. So anyone who can do magic and
Magic. It's not called magic.
well, no. But you know, it's called psychic or psycher abilities, or it's basically magic. If you don't understand it, it's fucking magic, basically, right?
Yep.
Like, to me, plumbing is magic, basically.
Oh,
How the fuck do you yeah
pipes.
transport water pipes? It's crazy.
Pipes.
Um. So yeah, it's essentially it's psychers are kind of more connected to the warp, I guess.
Yeah.
People's souls when they die go there into the immaterium, into
Well, we know a
the
bit
warp.
about that from the Eldar trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And I didn't realize like the human like people did too, or is it just
Yeah.
specific, or is it everyone?
I think it's not the Necrons
Part of Necrons
because
get left out of everything.
well they had their souls eaten. Remember,
One
kind of hard for your soul to go to the warp when a big shard of energy ate it.
stupid.
Right.
Anyway, we're not
Um,
getting angry about the Necrons being mistreated again.
I've never been angry about the Necrons being mistreated. They're kind of assholes.
Using the royal we.
Oh, okay. To hide your I was gonna say preference, but I don't think that's right. It's yeah, preference for the Necrons. Bias. There we go. To hide your Necron bias.
They would,
Um,
they just had a bad time.
they. I mean, the Necron tier had a bad time.
The Necrons, it's not. Okay, we can just argue this another time.
Oh, you. Sure.
I will argue.
Yeah. Also, the warp is used for faster than light travel.
Yeah.
Where basically they tear a hole open in reality, and then they go shooting through essentially hell, basically, right?
Yeah.
And they can travel a lot quicker through hell.
We're just
The
gonna
only
nip through. Don't look at us.
yeah, the only problem is, of course, is that there's a shit ton of demons in hell, and
They're
you're
hungry.
basically you're relying on ancient technology that you no longer understand to protect you from all the horrific things outside. And if it fluctuates and there's like holes in it, and randomly a demon will pop in and be like, "Yo, what's up? Want to eat your face?" And you're like, "No, not really."
No thanks.
Don't
Maybe next
answer the
time.
door. Fucking door-to-door salesman popping in, being like, "Hey, I heard you liked heresy."
We do like heresy, just only a little.
Try this brand new all-in-one heresy Hoover. Gather up all your heresy in one place, and so yeah, it's there's a lot of instances. Also, there's weird time travel things that I feel like they need to avoid, like narratively,
Time
because
travel.
yeah. So like, if you go into the warp and you do it wrong or badly or weirdly, you can end up like 10,000 years in the future when it takes you like
Oh.
a year to do the traveling,
Right.
but time's passed and
Hmm.
or the past sometimes. I've done a few games of Rogue Trader where I had to convince the players not to go and visit themselves.
Well, we were. I remember our game.
Yeah,
That was kind of.
alternate. Well, that was chaos. That was actual chaos though, and that
Yeah.
was
There's no law in chaos for anyone who
no,
wonders.
no. That was a mirror universe version of your characters.
Too many mirror universes
Too many
in that
mirror
game.
universes. Yeah. I mean, you ended up going to Armageddon and fighting the second war for Armageddon,
Yep.
which had Necrons somehow, which is not canon even slightly. Just FYI,
It is now.
it is now. Um, so yeah, we could probably do an episode on just the warp. I don't know how you'd paint that, to be
Um,
honest.
I do a space painting
Yeah.
and cry because I've never been able to do a decent one.
Oh.
Brr.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, if you want to paint the warp, you just kind of go pink, orange, purple, and you're pretty much good. Maybe a bit of red.
Could be fun.
And you just kind of like randomly like do cloudy type things with maybe a bit of lightning, and you're like, that's the warp.
Everyone
So
will know what it is because it's going to be such a brilliant painting.
yeah.
I'm not happy with this already.
I already?
I mean, it should maybe get better. You know, you hear my confidence.
Yeah.
Should might maybe get better.
Well, this is the like the journey that people go on with you.
Every time.
Every time it's like I'm not happy with this. This is terrible. This is horrible. This is horrific. I hate this. I hate this mini. I hate this person. Sometimes even randomly shouting at me, and then at the end it's like, oh, that's not too bad.
Well, we might get there sooner with the hatred than we
Yeah.
think.
Okay. Well, we're on our way, everyone.
Yay.
Be prepared to batten down the hatches and weather the storm that is Tash being angry with painting.
Yeah. It's usually just I'm angry with myself. And also kind of hungry.
Like you're actually hungry? Or...
Already, yeah, it's no
Oh.
reason.
Do you know what I have for dinner tonight?
Cheese.
Steak and chips.
You had something that wasn't spaghetti?
Yeah, fucking right. I have
am-
spaghetti technically, but I have nothing to
Oh.
go with it. So unless I want like
Spaghetti and steak.
which I'm not averse to be honest. Like I'm open to that. But yeah, no, not so much.
Yeah.
Wait, what's this? Oh, okay, that's a travel chart. So it's like how far you travel in light years and how long it takes to go through the warp and how long it takes in reality.
Oh, yeah.
So like if you travel 1 light year in the warp, or if you travel 1 light year, it'll take 2 minutes minimum, 6 minutes maximum, and in real time it will be like 43 minutes to 4 hours. And those can all fluctuate between each other. So it's like sometimes you can turn up earlier than you left.
Weird.
Which is what, yeah, like, yeah.
So is there a lot of I feel like they would be obviously I know the perils of the warp table exists, but would that be like a calamity, sort of two of you being in the same space or existing in the same universe because you're not in the warp anymore and you've arrived too early? Would that be a problem? Potentially.
Tell
me about time travel and space and in 40K.
You know what? Time travel ruins everything.
Right.
Is one thing I'll say, and it's just so. From what I know, it's kind of hand waved as like a funny thing, but never really a problem.
Okay.
Essentially, it's like oh yeah, it can happen where you, because this is the thing, is the warp is so unpredictable that you can travel somewhere and end up there before you left, but to get back and see yourself, you'd have to travel through the warp again.
Mm.
And you could end up getting back to where you were 1,000,000 years after you left. So it's like, just I think the basic take is just minimize the amount and you travel in the warp to as little as necessary, so you don't go and try and visit yourself, and therefore a time paradox has never happened because
we don't mess around with that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try to do a time paradox in the future. Prepare for that, everyone.
There,
Happens.
there was a Space Hulk. Do you know Space Hulks?
Are they a big old ship?
Yeah, they're essentially a ship that no longer is kind of in use. It's essentially like a drifting ship
Okay.
that usually it's in the warp. Sometimes the warp will spit it back out. Sometimes it's just like drifting through space dead. Very often it has gene stealers or orcs or some kind of weird crap on it. Um, there was one that turned up in 40K, uh, like the year I think it was the year 40,000, which was like it was so old that it had really advanced AI on it.
Oh, it's like backwards in 40k, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, like that's one of the interesting things about 40K is old technology is better than current technology for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find something really old, you're like, wow, this is so much more advanced than we are.
So much more advanced than us.
But the Imperium doesn't like AI.
I mean, Necrons are
Well, Necrons aren't technically AI, I don't think, because they're not advanced. They're not like artificial intelligence.
mm-hmm.
They're intelligence that's been biotransferred into mechanical bodies. So I'm not. You know what? I'm not a roboticist.
Well, also the Imperium probably don't necessarily know the origins of the Necrons either.
It's possible they do sometimes have chats with Necrons, but
Rogue
I
Trader's like, "Hey, what up? You want to trade?"
I like your green glowy thing. I have a blue glowy thing. Do you want it? Jeez, yeah. Um, but no, it was we'll cover it when we do the Imperium, I imagine. But essentially during the time of man,
Mm-hmm.
you know, kind of after the Eldar started to wane and then Slanesh turned up. There was a time where there was a big problem with artificial intelligence and humans and kind of like a whole matrix happening almost, like not actually, but you know, that type of like the AI is evil.
Okay.
So having like some really old advanced artificial intelligence being like turn up on a really old space hulk kind of uh kind of led the you know leads the Imperium to kind of lose their shit and be like, oh my god, fucking murder it. um Except for, you know, sometimes the AIs have loads of information about technologies and all that type of thing. So it's like, hello.
Maybe
Uh,
we won't just kill it outright. Maybe we'll get the info and then kill it outright.
yeah. I think in this instance, it was called the Space Hulk was called the Death of Integrity. Um,
Okay.
from what I remember, uh, there were gene stealers on it,
Mm-hmm.
which had some Space Marine chapters turn up and try and purge it. Pretty sure the Mechanicus were there as well because they always are. It's technology, and they can just sniff that shit out basically. Like,
They're like, "Hello, is everything about me here?" Yes, it is.
just walking into a room of like old technology strewn about the floor and stuff, and then they Scrooge McDuck it and like
You
just
made this? I made this.
just disrobe and jump into it and start swimming around. Um, I'd like to see that honestly,
Oh.
like recreate. Is it Ducktales? Is
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, recreate the intro to DuckTales, except for he's Mechanicus, and it's all technology instead of money.
Big old crunch when he jumps in.
Oh, I mean, like Scrooge McDuck jumps into a pile of gold coins. You know, like that would fucking break your body. Can't treat it like
He's a
water. You
duck.
crazy. Right.
Ducks are definitely stronger than humans.
Yeah, and can change the property of metal to liquid.
Yeah.
Without making it magma
Well, it
like
was proven
levels of
by
heat.
Scrooge McDuck, so
It's true. It's a good documentary. But it's essentially after they kind of killed the gene stealers, demons turned up as well.
ah, ruin everything.
And then one of the space marines there was part of a was part of the Blood Angels subfaction.
Yeah.
And basically succumbed to the Black Rage while they were all there.
I don't know what that means.
See, this is the lore of Games Workshop, 40K, Warhammer, etc. Everything you mention just adds to another open tab.
Yeah. When done with 100, you're like, oh no.
You're like, I literally just wanted to know what the name of one planet was, and now I have 1,500 open tabs, and I still have no idea what the name of the planet is. The Black Rage is a whole Blood Angel thing. They basically are kind of vampiric and monstrous, and it kind of turns them into basically space wolves. just like
actual wolves or the faction space wolves?
the factions.
Because I know
yeah.
that those exist. I
The-
just
the
don't know what it means.
That was kind of a joke. The space wolves don't really do thinking. They just like to jump in and tear shit apart. They're very rar.
Roar, like wolves.
But the Black Rage is essentially like a weird insanity.
I imagine it's like barbarians' rage.
Yeah, kind of. It's like a genetic defect that leads them into frenziedly trying to murder everything in sight or touch range, and like drinking blood, and like rage but darker. Yeah. So that happened, and then they found the AI in the center of the ship. Who essentially the AI tried to kill the Imperial forces and then fled off to another galaxy.
Sensible.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't like this galaxy, fuck it, and just
No,
kind
never mind.
headed off. So that was the whole Space Hulk thing, like came out the warp, and it's very possible that it wasn't there for that long comparative to like how long it was randomly turned up. So some of the ships that randomly turn up and are found in the galaxy by the Imperium are like 20,000 years old.
Oh.
And I think there's a story about an Imperial Guard frigate who jumped into the warp to go and stop Horus during the Horus Heresy, which is, of course, Warhammer 30,000, so 30,000, the year 30,000, and randomly turned up 10,000 years later, like, yo, where Horus at? And everyone's like, yeah, there's something about that we need to talk about.
It's been a little while there, buddy.
So that was a thing, but we've had a whole lot of other stuff happen since then. They're like, praise the Emperor, his divine being, and they're like, what are you talking about? That's not a thing. It's like, it is now, bud.
Oh gosh, the heresy there.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Reboot Gullyman the leader of the Primarch of the Ultramarines, just woke up after like 10,000 years or so in medical slumber hibernation. And after he woke up, he looked around and saw the Imperium and the galaxy, and it has spent the time since he's been woke up pretty much like listening to Slipknot in his room crying.
Okay.
It's like crawl. That's Linkin Park, but whatever. Man, I'm gonna piss a lot of people off with that one. I think comparing Linkin Park to Slipknot.
Slightly different.
I could have gone with Wait and Bleed, but I don't know the lyrics to that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever known any lyrics to any Slipknot song.
Oh, well, that's terrible.
Like I've listened to them, but I'm just not sure what they're saying, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, sometimes I get like that with music. It's like I like metal and screamo a bit, but I want to be able to sing along.
Yeah, it's hard to sing along when you don't know if they're actually saying words.
Yeah. I once said that about Meatloaf, that he doesn't actually say real words. He just goes, "Rah, rah, rah," and people got real mad at me.
Do people still like Meatloaf? Meatloaf is
I was like,
Meatloaf
oh,
still a
sorry,
thing?
everyone. That was a joke. That was kind of a joke.
Yeah.
But now that you're mad, I meant it seriously.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. Slipknot is basically Linkin Park. Changed my mind.
Oh, God. Anyway.
So yeah, that's like that's the basics of the warp and etc. So back to chaos. They chill in the warp. They not really gods, but with the amount of power they are wield and have,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard to be like they're not gods because like the fuck are you gonna do? Like they basically are.
They'll beat you up,
Yeah,
steal your lunch money, and then eat your soul.
and also it's like the Eldar gods. They're kind of they were created by emotions and desires and wishes. So, like, yeah, that's basically how Slanesh was created.
Mm-hmm.
Was all the Eldar basically having a whole load of excess and passion and drugs and all these, and it all kind of like it all kind of coalesced into creating a new warp entity known as Slanesh. And Slanesh like burst out and was like, hungry, and just kind of om nom nommed. So,
How
technically,
kind of you all to bring food to me.
technically speaking, if everyone in the galaxy was intensely hungry enough for a long enough period of time, you could create a chaos god of hunger.
Yeah.
Don't know what it would be called.
Necromanom.
Gordo the ever hungry, maybe.
My brain just went like tapeworms. Something about tapeworms. I'm like, why would I go there?
Pat the top of your head. Thanks, brain.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Sure, I guess. I mean,
Timmy the tapeworm, the chaos god. There you go.
we already have a Timmy.
We don't, do we? Do we
Yeah,
have a Timmy?
yeah, Tim the Necron. Didn't want to be a Well, he didn't want to be a Necron, but he is anyway. It's the one I painted.
Tarzan the tapeworm.
Tarzan. Okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome, everyone.
There you go. New chaos god created. Still doesn't hold a candle to dissonance, but
A taxi driver.
that was the doc, right? That was the taxi driver.
Started out, and then he became the Avatar of Dissonance.
Yeah.
So
I worry about my brain. Just in general. I was gonna say sometimes, but I'm like, no, just in general. So
well, I hate this guy, but it's whatever.
are we talking about Tarzan the Tapeworm or
Um,
Dissonance Duck or the miniature?
miniature Harold
Right. I assumed we were talking about Harvey.
Harvey. There we
Yeah.
go. I don't remember his name. I hate him so much.
Because your statement was punctuated by a kind of like bang on the desk.
Yeah.
I was like, she just got pissed off with him and slammed him on the desk. Okay, yeah,
Well, I didn't slam. That's a little much.
yeah.
Placed aggressively.
Plonked.
Plunked.
There you go, plonked. So yeah, a lot of there are a lot of like denizens of the warp.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them aren't like the level of Slanesh and etc. They're kind of like they're kind of dependent on a vast amount of emotions and feelings and etc. And they can kind of grow in power. So understandably, Khorne is one of the oldest and more powerful gods.
Because everyone's angry. War
Because
never changes.
that's not that's Fallout. In the grimdark distant future, there is only war.
This is a different setting.
That's war. That's 40k.
Yeah.
No, only war is 40k.
I know.
Whereas you quoted a completely different existence.
Well, shut up. How about that?
Okay.
Was it not applicable?
Not really.
War is a thing that.
I mean, okay, let me just highlight this for a second here for you, right? So we're
You just compared Slipknot. You thought Slipknot and Linkin Park were the same, so.
sure, but that's fine because we're not doing a long talk on metal or screamo or whatever the fuck the kids are listening to nowadays. We're doing we're doing a video. By the way, you're a little bit
Oh, but blurry.
blurry. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
It's I need to figure out how to change some of the settings because if I turn manual focus on or autofocus on, it has a big old square where it's trying to like track. But I think there's some software that I can
Okay.
maybe work with, but it's I'll have to check.
I'll just let you know if I see it.
Thanks. Yeah.
So your quote was war never changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was what you used for the episode where we're doing Tzeentch.
Well, you were talking about Khorne.
Yeah, well, right. But Tzeentch is known as the Lord of Change. So thematically, your quote is, let's face it, completely opposite to what we're just about to get into and talk about.
Well, we were talking about Khorne, so.
Sure.
I think I watered this down a bit too much. Yeah. I haven't used many contrast media. Like I haven't used contrast that much, and I'm using a contrast medium to like water it down. So I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm trying. It feels very blue, is why I like watered it down even more. But like, very very blue.
Oh yeah.
But it makes me quite nervous that it's too blue.
Well, you never know how it's gonna end up.
Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna dry, so.
So just give it a college shot, and you'll be. So,
Back to Fallout.
Back to Fallout. War never changes. Lord of Change. Perfect segue. Thank you. Yeah. So the Chaos Gods kind of, I don't say feed on emotion. They're essentially like driven by or kind of like created by and sustained by emotions and desires and wishes. And the more people, for example, corn and war, the more it is, the more they kind of be, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because one of the things that was discussed with the whole like Horus Heresy and all this type of thing is, while it was kind of caused by the chaos gods and the machinations of chaos and stuff, it could have led to the death of the chaos gods. There's a distinct possibility, and this is going into another one of my favorite like factions and people in 40k, the Alpha Legion. It's very possible that if Horus had won the Horus Heresy, then humanity would have been wiped out, and the Chaos Gods would have been basically diminished so much that they basically didn't exist.
I don't. Have we spoken about the Horus Heresy very much before?
We have not, because
I'm like, I've heard I've heard of it a couple of times, but I'm sure I don't know much about that.
I don't know how many books there are on the Horus Heresy, but I can say a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, like the Horus Heresy was 10,000 years before the current timeline in Warhammer 40k.
Yeah, I kind of knew it was around that time. It started to rain again. If you,
I didn't notice.
You didn't notice?
Really. No, I just assumed you dropped a bag of marbles.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Britain for you, everyone.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the UK.
You're welcome. You get to listen to relaxing rain as I paint.
It sounds like someone's standing outside your shed and occasionally like moving. They're like watering the plants, and occasionally like just throwing the spray over your roof.
I mean, it's when I activate the microphone.
Oh so. Yeah. So the thing is like I'm not 100% sure. I think humanity is the most prevalent in the galaxy. So I think that has a lot to do with it. There's more of them and everything. Like for example, the orcs aren't connected to
the Chaos Gods or anything, because it does remind me of the orcs, like a fair amount, with their beliefs and sustaining and making it happen.
It does have similarities, and Gork and Mork do exist. They are actual gods who I think, as far as I know, they exist in the Immaterium in the warp somewhere. They just fight each other and they're just like
have a nice life.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll cover Gork and Mork and the orcs when we do the orcs. Yeah. I've been holding off on that because I know that the second the orcs become an option, we're just gonna do the orcs. I have that feeling. But yeah, so humanity is also a very emotional race as well. So I think that's part of the reason why they have like a nice little bump they give chaos a nice little bump. But if everyone stopped feeling, then chaos gods would be as much of a thing.
I'm making some bad choices, but I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. So, sorry, this is painting is quite difficult to me sometimes. I'm using this contrast medium and the Thalasar blue. And I'm gonna almost use it a little bit like a wash, like I would use Agrax Earthshade, which is the shade. Because I don't feel like the skin has enough like depth to it in the paint version I've done. Because I haven't done any sort of low lights, it's all highlighting. So let's see what happens.
Okay.
And like it's dried enough on the legs that I feel like it's quite an interesting colouring.
Yeah.
So
I'm down for this.
I have no idea what I'm doing. This is why we learn things.
Yeah, it's time to learn, everyone. So,
Let's see if I ruin it.
it's essentially like because the warp is a reflection of reality. Like the thoughts and emotions and feelings in reality is reflected in the warp, and then slowly those like all of those thoughts and feelings and emotions kind of gather together, and then they're like, yo, what up, we're similar, and then they kind of slowly form a kind of psychic consciousness, and that grows and grows and grows, and then you suddenly, after millions of years, you have the chaos gods. They're essentially, you could almost consider them artificial, and no, I mean, I guess not artificial intelligence, but they have their own consciousness. They're just formed from psychic energy. They're formed from thoughts, emotions, feelings, etc. And that's why you have like that's how Slanesh came to be. And the interesting thing about the Chaos Gods is literally all demons, all the Chaos demons and everything are just fractions of the gods. They can basically form demon from their consciousness and just like
Right, because obviously there's like the avatar of Cain and there's the avatars of chaos gods and stuff.
yeah.
And it seemed almost like it was part of them,
Yeah.
but who knows sometimes.
Yeah. It's like there's actually a really interesting thing we'll probably get into later, which is one of the Tzeentch demons and how he interacts with Tzeentch because of stuff that Tzeentch did. We'll talk about it later. His he's an interesting little being. He's called Kairos, Fate Weaver. Look forward to that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's essentially like Korn's anger, basically, but other things too, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they form their own demons over time. Demons can like appear in reality. They can be summoned or they can be like manifested, but eventually they
Return to the warp or return to being part of the.
yeah.
Okay.
They can be banished, which basically means they get sent away. The time they get sent away for is indeterminate,
Yeah.
because I think it's always nice as a storyteller to have a get out of jail free card. So if you have a cool story you want to tell, that demon that was banished, which could have been banished for 1,000 years, comes back like 20 minutes later and is like, yo, what's up? I've got what the person who's writing the story wanted me to do some more stuff, so I came back pretty quickly this time.
Thought you'd seen the last of me.
Yeah, turns out it was me, Tzeentch.
All along.
Did you, for anyone who hasn't seen the Chaos show, this won't make sense, but there's a reason why Bentham's character in the Chaos show had that scene where it was like you stab him, but it's not really him, and then he like appears behind you and stabs you, but you were ready for that. It wasn't really you. Like that.
Oh, that was the anime as fuck bit, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that was anime as fuck. And it was just an anime scene where it was like, oh, I knew you were going to do that, so I prepared for that, and I've prepared this. Oh, damn, you prepared for the thing that I prepared for. Therefore, yeah, it was just
It was
all
a great like sort of explainer of Tzeentch.
yeah.
Oh, that looks so much better. I'm so
There,
happy I did that.
there you go. Savor this moment, everyone. Tash is happy.
And then I've got the rest of it to ruin, so
Yeah, like I was about to say, any second now, Tash is going to do something. You'll be like, oh my god,
I hate it.
it's fucked. I hate it all.
I mean, it's fine.
And yeah, the chaos gods, as they kind of like this, these are early days and everything, but they essentially were like, hey, there's these conscious beings in the other dimension place. Can we maybe corrupt them? Yes, we can. We can corrupt them. Let's do that, because if I'm Khorne and I'm kind of fed by anger, if I poke someone until they get pissed off, that makes me stronger.
Yeah.
So literally, Khorne is like running around, running around existence, going like, "Not touching, can't get
Not
mad.
touching.
Not
Ugh.
touching, can't get mad." Although Khorne touches, like, Khorne's a biter, to be honest.
Collect. There we go.
So yeah, the thing about the Chaos Gods is as annoying and kind of assholey as they are, like they only get stronger through people and people being weak and everything.
And sometimes there's not ways to get around it, is it? Like even if they were all like super Puritan and didn't, indulge in greed or excess or
War
or plotting against each other and everything. I'm sure that would play into one of the Chaos Gods anyway.
Or other gods would rise.
Yeah. Because they'd be like, aha, I see that you are like not even proud of living carefully.
I'm sure there's a chaos god, or like a burgeoning chaos god, of overtaking people on a country road as you're going around a corner.
Hey, it's dangerous.
Yeah. It also pisses me off.
It's an oddly specific example.
I mean, if you want to use a more recent example for me, I'm sure there's a god of dentists who you know what? I'm sure there's a god of awkward situations where you can't talk. Because I went to the dentist this morning and I realized that my reaction to kind of awkward, forced situations where you're kind of like, you got to go to the dentist, you got to go to the doctors, or someone you don't know but you're going to be around for a
while.
Yeah, be around with for a little while. I realized my reaction to that situation is just to word salad talk to make myself feel more comfortable. Turns out that's not possible when a dental assistant has her hands in your mouth with two big, like, metal tools kind of rooting around and stuff. So very much out of my comfort zone this morning. And I feel like there's a chaos god of awkward situations where you can't talk. So what's up, homie? Happy to add to the cause. Make me a demon prince when you manifest, bro.
Broski. Okay, I'm just looking at my golds plan because I'm about to start on the armor panels.
Right. Gold's plan. I mean, there's some of that yesterday. It's a reference to the D&D show Tash is on currently.
Well, she was a little bit bad yesterday.
Just a little bit?
Yep. It's fine. Yeah. The most of the other characters don't know.
So I think next up we're going to delve into like Tzeentch proper, having like we talked a little bit about. I don't want to go super deep into it because there's any of this stuff we could talk about for ages. But how about we take a break there?
Okay.
Okay.
And let's pause.